everyone, and welcome to the Kimberly Guilfoyle Show, where facts come first and where news is done right. And I want to first thank to all of you for making our first episode a huge success. So thank you so much for tuning in, and we got a great show for tonight. Picking up right where we left off with more all-star guests. Former Defense Department Chief of Staff and Russiagate hero Kash Patel will be here, along with Trump attorney Alina Habba. We'll have a wide-ranging discussion on the 2024 presidential campaign. They'll reveal what it's like to be behind the scenes with Donald Trump. And we'll talk about being thrust into the spotlight and relentlessly attacked by the media. And that is just all coming up straight ahead. But first, we begin in Washington, where on Saturday, the 45th president, Donald Trump, closed out CPAC with a rousing speech, laying out the America First agenda and telling Americans he's their voice and their retribution. Watch.
And if you put me back in the White House, their reign is over. Their reign will be over. And they know it. And America will be a free nation once again. We're not a free nation right now. We don't have free press. We don't have free anything. In 2016, I declared, I am your voice. Today, I add, I am your warrior. I am your justice. And for those who have been wronged and betrayed, I am your retribution. I am your retribution. Not going to let this happen. Not going to let it happen. I will totally obliterate the deep state. I will fire.
Phenomenal speech, great reaction from the crowd, and President Trump also made it clear that he's playing to win, okay? This is an experiment, this isn't an internship, taking back the White House in 2024, and said that his campaign will become the masters of ballot harvesting. Take a look.
And it's ballot harvesting. We will become masters at ballot harvesting. We have no choice. Beating the Democrats at their own game. And we'll do it legally. The agenda I've laid out today will end America's destruction.
Well, what President Trump said yesterday is exactly what we have been telling you, that he is still the establishment's worst nightmare and still the only candidate ready to meet this moment head on. It's why we dominated, okay, the CPAC straw poll, grabbing up 62% of the vote. That's America First, folks, because the American public is tired of the same go along to get along politicians who promise everything and deliver absolutely nothing. So it's one of the many reasons the stakes are so high in 2024, regardless of who the Democrat candidate is. Do we want to go towards a path to prosperity or down a path toward further decline? Because get this, even top Democrats aren't ready to commit to Joe Biden. They don't want Joe, they want to quit Joe. Here's what Senator Joe Manchin said when asked about endorsing the struggling Joe Biden. Watch.
Are you going to endorse Joe Biden if he runs for re-election?
Oh, there's plenty of time for the election. This is the problem with America right now. We start an election every time there's a cycle coming up.
Yeah, he's the leader of your party.
No, the bottom line is let's see who's involved. Let's wait until we see who all the players are. Let's just wait until it all comes out.
I mean, you can't make this up. He's like struggling. This is a guy who's an experienced politician, and he doesn't want to commit to Joe Biden. Let's be honest. So while Biden says that he, quote, intends to run, wasn't he supposed to have officially announced by now? Hello, Joe. So what exactly is the holdup? What are you waiting for, Joe? If you're going to run, why not just say it? But the bad news for Democrats doesn't stop there. Because also developing today, Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez finds herself in more hot water as an ethics panel is concluding that the New York Congresswoman likely received impermissible gifts over her attendance at the 2020 Met Gala, where she wore the infamous Tax the Rich dress. And House rules prohibit members from accepting gifts or discounts. But that's apparently just what happened, as the ethics panel found that there were major delays in paying vendors for the luxurious dress and other costs associated with the ritzy gala. Because according to the findings, the expenses weren't paid until after the investigation started. So it would appear that the socialist firebrand accepted the gifts, got caught, and then tried to cover her tracks. Not so fast, AOC. We're watching you. And rather than take responsibility for her behavior like a grown-up, AOC is blaming an aide for dropping the ball. The House Ethics Committee is continuing to investigate the matter, and we're going to continue to follow this story. And lastly, more evidence tonight of the two-tiered system of justice and politicized cases surrounding January 6th and the targeting of pro-life Americans. As portions of transcripts reviewed by JustTheNews.com show that more whistleblowers have come forward to allege that top brass at the FBI pressured agents to investigate activities protected by the First Amendment. For example, one whistleblower reportedly testified that after the Supreme Court's Dobbs decision over the summer, the FBI prioritized possible threats from pro-life Americans, but complained the threats coming from pro-choice radicals enraged by the decision. So now later this week, we will have a much deeper investigation into all of this and be breaking some news as well. And we'll tell you the story that much of the media doesn't want you to know. And of course, this is just one of the many reasons that Donald Trump is the only man who can fix this mess and expose the rot inside the entrenched political swamp. Now, just like we've been telling you, Americans deserve a justice system based on the facts, based on the law, not based on their political views or who they voted for. And it's something our two guests today are all too familiar with. All right, so joining me now, attorney for President Trump, Alina Habba, and former Defense Department Chief of Staff, Kash Patel. Thank you both for being on the program. I know everybody, all the viewers have been really fired up to hear from both of you today. Couldn't have better guests to discuss these stories. And I first want to get your reaction, if I can, guys, to President Trump's speech at CPAC. What do you think are some of the most important issues for the president to hit on now heading into 2024? And I'll begin with you, Alina.
Sure. I think something that he always highlights, first of all, congratulations, Kim. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
But I think that one of the important things that he highlights, and he always has highlighted, is the importance of protecting the border, and the importance of having a border, which we do not have at this very moment. I think that's clear. The fact that people are advising people that if they want to get a license or they want to vote, all they need to do is take a flight to Mexico and just walk themselves across, says it all. And we have a president that's unaware and frankly, unable to be aware. So we've got to get a border in place immediately. And then for me personally, as a mother, and I think a lot of people in America can relate to this right now, I love when he talks about education, CRT, and the imposing this information way too young on minors and shoving down their throats things that should not be in the school system, and you know, male and women sports and interchanging and kind of going back to the traditional America. That's what I love about Donald Trump. We need some more of that traditional America, and I haven't seen it, frankly, for a very long time, not since 2020 when he left office. So for me, those are the things that speak out. Again, I loved when he said, you know, it's April Fool's Day every day right now with this administration. Yeah. I think that's the best.
That was pretty clever, by the way. I thought that was
clever. It was clever. I actually called him after. The first thing I said, I was like, happy April Fool's Day, Mr. President.
Oh my God.
That's what we're dealing with. But to me, that was very important. And I think he's always nailed it right on the head when it comes to the economy and everything else.
Yeah, it's like April Fool's is the new Groundhog Day, right? Like it's April Fool's every day now because of what the nonsense that we have going on here. You know, Kash, you saw the speech, everything got great reviews in it. What do you think are some of the most important issues, one, that he hit in that speech and that he really needs to focus on, you know, to connect and resonate with the people, kind of back like we did in the day in 2016?
Kim, it's great to be with you, and congrats on your show. You are one of the best America First voices we have, so I'm so glad you have this stage, and it's great to be with Alina. Yeah, I was there in person, and I looked down at my watch at the end, and I said, that was 104 minutes? What happened? It was like, I thought it was like 10 minutes long, and the style I want to talk about before the substance, it was so simplistic. It wasn't filled with Washington legalese jargon from the swamp. It was just Donald Trump saying things Americans want to hear, how he's going to improve education, how he's going to tackle the border, like Alina was saying. And to me, maybe I'm biased because of my background, but one of the things he said that struck out to me the most was, let's take care of our veterans before we get bogged down in another world war. And we have 55,000 homeless veterans, 24 of which take their lives every day tragically. And I don't mind helping other people's problems overseas, You're talking to a few immigrants and children of immigrants on this show right here. It's the American dream we're living, but there's nothing wrong with taking care of Americans first. And the second thing that I thought that was so powerful was his ability and his own unique ability to say, I could end the conflict in Ukraine. He's the only person on earth that can say that. And he actually means it because he has the wasta and the backing to take on those global leaders and say, hang on a second, not on my watch. And that's the stark contrast between a Joe Biden and a Donald Trump.
Yeah, it really is dangerous, perilous times that, we're living in. Just to follow up on that point, Kash, because so many people, so many Americans are saying, okay, well, what could be done to, stop it, shut down Russia? Because Russia is on the march, let's be honest. We have a very dangerous situation in Ukraine. Putin has big ambitions. You work directly in this field, in this area, and with this president. What do you think President Trump should and would do to shut this down?
It's basically what he did in East Palestine. It's showing up. The stark difference is that President Trump shows up for the American first people, but he also shows up for American security all over the world. Joe Biden went to Poland, went to Ukraine, and held 0 diplomatic meetings to end the conflict in the Ukraine. Not one peace negotiation discussion. And I think that's the difference. Donald Trump would call a Putin, call a Zelensky, call a Xi Jinping. And he highlighted the fact that these 3 countries getting together along with Iran is not good for global security. And he would sit those folks down and he would say, hang on, not that America's going to threaten to attack you, but if you don't listen to us, we're going to cut you off from the banking system. We're going to tariff you to no end. We're not going to buy your products, and you're not going to get our stuff. It's very simple. And they would be forced to listen immediately, which is why I believe him when he says he could end the conflict in 24 hours. He probably could.
Yeah, I believe it. I really do. And we'd be much safer, that's for sure. Something else, as a former prosecutor, is very troubling to me is the politicization and weaponization of our government agencies, of the Department of Justice, the FBI. And Alina, I want to get, kind of your take on this, because you are really on the front lines battling every single day for this president with one baseless case, one baseless investigation after the next. I mean, it's beyond, a full-time job. But talk to us a little bit about that, because some of the general public may not hear some of it, and you're literally experiencing it every day and seeing what this man goes through.
Yes, that's true. And I know Kash has written a great book that everybody should go out and get on this. But what has happened in my tenure with the president, which is in the post-2020 tenure really, and the past couple years, is that they are creating what's not more than fictitious stories or storylines, using people like Michael Cohen to back them, who has a personal vendetta from back in the day, and then saying, hey, we have a basis for this. Let's just keep digging. Like, let's not forget him. They wanted his tax returns for years and years and years, and then they got them, and there was nothing there. And it was the same thing happening. And I always say, and I'm so glad you asked this, because people get nervous that don't understand what's happening. They see that there are grand juries all over the country. They see that there are complaints being filed. God knows the press is covering any negative legal case with Donald Trump and putting his face on the front of it, even if it's something like a minor motion on a discovery, which lawyers will understand means nothing. It just means we want a little bit more time to get somebody else's deposition. They'll turn it and twist it like he's afraid. He is not afraid, and there's nothing to be afraid of. And if there's anything I can say to the American people, it's, I am involved in some regard to on a ton of cases, probably more than any other lawyer on his team. And I'm proud to be, because I can tell you that this man has always conducted himself ethically, appropriately. And there is really nothing that we're afraid of other than dealing with fake news media and corruption. And if there was no corruption and there was no fake news, this would be a non-story, because nothing has happened. Look at the boxes, look at the distinction and how they treat different presidents and different people, depending on if you're a Democrat and a Republican. That is all that is, and that is anything that I handle. And yeah, there's a lot to handle, but we've got a good grasp on it. We're okay.
And just personally reflecting, this is such a Herculean effort that you have undertaken on so many fronts. You are a mother, you have, beautiful family, and I know it takes a toll on it, but what about some of the personal things where there's this, relentless effort to not just, investigate and smear the president, but, people having come after you as well?
No, I haven't heard any of that. Is that right?
Fake news.
So nice and kind and supportive, right?
Yeah, right. First of all, I got to tell you, some days I laugh and I say, I can't even imagine what it would be like to work for the office of the Attorney General in New York, or to work for the Biden team, and to just walk into a court and know that anything I do or say will be praised and will be taken as a good thing. You're right. I have 2 young children. People forget I'm a human being. And I have personally, my family has personally, my husband and even my extended family have personally been ridiculed, attacked in the media frequently. I don't think there's a week that I don't get some story that, somebody filed a motion the other day and they just put my name on it. And I called the reporter. I'm like, I didn't even file that. But, I will say this, and I say this not just because I'm on your show, but the Trump family is tremendous. The Trump family being everyone, including you, Kash, anybody that has been part of this world knows what I'm going through, and they've been the reason that I've been able to be so strong in this baptism by fire type of situation that I've got myself in. But it's relentless, it's exhausting, it's unfair, but in a way, I think it says that I'm being effective. And if I wasn't effective, they wouldn't be coming after me.
Well, they want you to give up, right? They want you to feel canceled or threatened or worried or stressed and just try to get you to back out. I've experienced this as well. A lot over the years.
Yeah.
Kash, it happens to you as well. And it's very difficult because people don't realize, every single day you wake up and it's like getting smashed by bricks. But you just keep going. You can't give up because we believe in this country. And Kash, real quick, you've got a great book out, so give a nice plug for it here and why people should read it to get that insight that they need on this.
Thanks so much. And yeah, it's really an honor. The only reason we're able to keep up this fight is because we have folks like you two to call on, and I can get your invaluable opinion on it. But I wrote this book called Government Gangsters. And honestly, I wish I wasn't able to write it, because there wouldn't be a deep state or government gangsters to talk about. Right. But Donald Trump was the one who exposed their corruption, and he put it out on Truth Social. It's available for pre-sale at governmentgangsters.com. He says it's a blueprint to taking back the White House, and more importantly, how we restore the agencies and departments that we've been talking about, DOJ, DOD, NSA, CIA, to work for the American people, and get rid of the government gangsters like the Mark Millies, like the Garlands, like the Rays, the people who have created a 2-tier system of justice, who have teamed up with the fake news mafia to make sure they politicize every single national security and economic interest of this country so they can see their names in the headlines above. And we want to defeat that. And as you said, Kim, and as Donald Trump said at his speech, he is our retribution. This is the man that we will follow behind to take our country back. We are all doing this together, and we have so much on the line. Alina and you have been through more than anyone will ever know what you guys do for this country, and there's so many warriors, but we couldn't do it if Donald Trump wasn't that man standing in front and just taking the relentless flack and ammunition that he does. So I was happy to put the story to pen to paper.
Kash, this still hasn't been approved yet, for quote publication to be disseminated. What do you think that they're so afraid of trying to silence and hold this back? Just blurt it out here.
It's simple. I name every single government gangster from Democrat to Republican in every agency by name, what they did. But as Donald Trump would always say, Kash, don't just highlight the problem. What's the solution? Right. The solution is, of course, a Trump presidency, but it lays out what Congress can do, what we can do at the polls, and what levers of government are there for us in this constitutional republic to fix it. But none of it matters. I keep telling people that's why I think Donald Trump went big on ballot harvesting and making some other adjustments over the course, because nothing matters more than winning. If you don't win, then we're talking about why we lost. And that doesn't allow you to change
You're
the game.
absolutely right. And I recall, on election night, what a night that was. And just seeing some of the results, the stuff coming back in, the states are always problematic. And there's these states that have ballot harvesting. But if we're not playing by the same rules and doing what they do, how do you expect, to win? Plus, you have to have a robust, legal team set up, right, Alina, in those states to make sure that you're actually holding these people accountable and that we make sure that we're filing on stuff immediately, to jump on it.
That's right. And we also need Republican governors, as he said in his speech in CPAC, to change it to paper ballots, same day voting, or we will never win because they're stealing. It is what it is. And we have to see it the way it is. And the reason they're doing all of this, the reason I am so busy is because he's winning and because he's getting 63% when DeSantis has 20%, as CPAC came out with the poll. He's crushing it right now. And the more they hit him, frankly, in my opinion, the more they hit him, the higher his numbers go up because it's becoming so obvious. This is all political and there's no room for politics in some of these departments, and there shouldn't be politics in our courtrooms. And unfortunately, that is what this country's become. We're no different than a third world country. And if we don't fix it soon, we are all screwed because they could be doing it to any of us.
Well, it's absolutely right. If it can happen to, they're going after him with his Mar-a-Lago raid or all the nonsense, it's frightening, and people should be outraged about it. This should not be happening in this country, what they have done. It is completely disgusting the way they have destroyed justice. They have no shame. They lie. They try to persecute a man just because he wanted to fight back to help the country. But as you say, we got news for him, right, guys? Because he's more energized than ever. I saw him that night when he flew back, from CPAC, and he was still going, till about 1 a.m, and he was fired up. He looks great. You guys spent a lot of personal time with him as well, and it's like the opposite effect. Like, they don't realize they are actually feeding the savage beast that is President Trump. Keep hitting him, man, because he's going to go back and hit you twice as hard. And that's what I like, because Americans want fighters, not people who can't walk up the stairs, falling down, don't know where they are. That's a joke. Do you think any of these foreign leaders, Kash, are threatened by Joe Biden? I mean, it's like they're celebrating, they're clapping their hands and laughing uproariously at the fact that this is the guy that they have to go up against.
Not only are they celebrating that Trump is not in the White House, our commander in chief, from a national security perspective, Democrat, Republican, I'm cheering for him. I need him to succeed. We need him to succeed to protect Americans. But Joe Biden can't get on the phone with Vladimir Putin. Our Secretary of Defense can't get on the phone with his counterpart in the CCP in China. They don't even take our calls or messages or bother to communicate with us. Look at the drastic fall that has happened since Trump left office. They went to being in rooms with him and negotiating face-to-face to saying America is no longer a player on the world stage. And when was the last time a commander-in-chief of this nation couldn't pick up the phone and call an adversary and at least discuss an issue of global consequence? Joe Biden can't even send an email to these people. They won't read it.
I mean, I can't even think back when that happened. I don't even think they did that to Obama. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, they just have no respect for this guy as an individual, as a commander in chief. Like, they're like, no, Joe Biden, what? And they just totally disregard. I mean, I can't even think of a worse situation that makes America less safe, that we cannot even engage, like you said, in any kind of diplomatic conversations or whatnot. But you see everything's run amok, right, Alina? Since Joe Biden has been in 2 years, look what's happened. Disastrous withdrawal in Afghanistan, horrific situation in Ukraine, Russia emboldened, North Korea in a total free-for-all, China with spy balloons. It's nuts.
Never mind that. We can't even get an answer from our press secretary. So you've got the people that are supposed to be spokespeople for a guy who can't speak. And you said dramatic fall. I think you meant literally and figuratively. We have lots of dramatic falls happening with Biden. But I will say the problem is, never mind even China and all of them not respecting us. The American people can't get an answer when there's the spy balloon, like you mentioned, or when we find out that there's FBI leakers coming in, whistleblowers telling us that they didn't want to raid Trump's house, but that they were directed to do so by the DOJ. What the hell's going on? And then you've got this woman that gets up there and she can't even answer a question. You've got nobody being responsive to anything with Fauci. Nobody is answering the American people. We deserve the answers. So you're not going to answer foreign leaders, and you're not even answering the constituents that voted you in. Then what the hell are you doing other than helping your son hide money with China? I don't know.
Absolutely. And Kash, that's where the investigation should be. And this has been sidetracked for far too long when there is just significant, culpable evidence about impropriety and what they were doing with basically, selling out this country for their own personal enrichment.
No, you're absolutely right. So the House of Representatives, look, being the guy that ran Russiagate, don't try to do 1,000 things. I was just on Capitol Hill with a lot of the leaders of the Republican Party last week. Do 2 things. Go investigate Hunter Biden's laptop, and then maybe go investigate the border or Fauci. And what you have to do is start sending out subpoenas. The one thing we learned from the January 6th Unselect Committee was the power of Congress. Now use those rules for Republicans. Subpoena everybody in big tech, subpoena everybody at the FBI and DOJ, subpoena every banking record, because money never lies.
Follow
and that's
the
how
money.
we broke the banks during Russiagate. And then don't hide it. Put it out for the American people to see. Americans are getting tired. We're happy the Republicans are in charge, but they need to produce not just witness testimony that's meaningless, but they need to produce the receipts and documents for the American people so we can see them in the 41,000 hours on Jan 6. That's a start, but it's still not available to everybody yet.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And it's taken this long, and we had to actually take over Congress to be able to get the facts and the answers. I mean, that is un-American right there. There should have been transparency, but this was just yet again another witch hunt. I mean, I know I had to go testify for like 14 hours, and I wasn't even at the Capitol. I mean, it's insane. They're like, is this you? Identify this person on the video dancing. I'm like, yeah, that's me. So what, I caused an insurrection by like dancing, because Don's like, oh, hey, KG, and I did a little dance like this. I was dancing to the Trump music, they plays for the rallies. And I literally had to fly to DC to answer questions like that. I mean, how horrific and brain damaged are these people? I mean, it's one thing after the next. I know, Kash, you've had to deal with it. Alina's had to deal with it. Don't get me started. Or Don Jr. It's one thing after the next.
Yeah, it's relentless. It's relentless.
And what they want to do is they just want to hit us where it hurts financially, because they think we'll bend the knee. The 3 of us aren't, and all the people that you mentioned are never going to do that. And they want to hit us in the media where their fake news headlines will be carried out. But look, we have kept fighting. Let's just take the Jan 6 narrative. It has now unequivocally been proven that Donald Trump acted not only appropriately, but proactively and preemptively to take on a security posture that would have secured the Capitol. And Mayor Bowser, Nancy Pelosi rejected it. That has been categorically proven without doubt, because that's what exactly happened. And so we just have to keep going. We know these subpoenas are going to come. We know they're going to try to hit us where it hurts financially, but we will never bend the knee, because the 3 of us and so many others think the America First agenda is worth fighting for.
You're absolutely right. We got to start doing some investigating the investigators, okay, and paper the hell out of them with subpoenas. I love it. So we're going to do a little look into the future, the KG crystal ball of things being amazing, okay? So I'm going to take you in my little time machine to January 2025, all right? And Kash Patel, who, by the way, I don't know if you know this or not, but do you know that people write online all the time if they're like all obsessed with you, Kash, and they think you're cute? But anyway, I don't know if you heard that on the internet.
I love Kash. I'm a big fan of Kash.
Oh my God, I am too. I mean, yeah. So, okay, so Kash, it's January 2025, all right? You are the new FBI director. Please, God. I won't ask you for anything for like the next.
Please, I'm with you on that one, Casey.
All right. All right, you're the new FBI director. What do you do on day one? Because I know you have thought about these type of things in terms of what needs to be done and should be done with these agencies, because you're upset as an American that you want these agencies to do well. You're not sitting there at home going, I want the FBI to be bad and be politicized so that I can complain about it on TV. As the president has always said, Kash, what's the solution? So if you're put in that position to fix and solve, the issues at the FBI, what do you do?
First thing, you go out and you literally thank the 99% of the FBI agents that have waited through the last decade and provided the service that we needed. So they know that you have their back as their leader to go bring down cartels and terrorists and bank robbers and fraudsters and help secure this country's safety. And the next thing you do is I'm a big proponent of shutting down the headquarters building in Washington, D.C., and standing it up as the new museum of the deep state and make it free for everyone in America and the world to visit. I'm not saying you don't need a headquarters component. You just don't need one the size of a New York City square block. You need 50 people running this thing, and then every other agent that's there. And look, the Hillary Clinton email investigation, Russiagate, Ukraine, Jan 6, whatever, has proven that when cases go to Washington, D.C., they go there to be politicized, not acted on by the facts and the law, and then they're bastardized by the media. We need all those agents in there held accountable if they were participating in that. And then every other agent that wasn't gets sent back to the field. You know why? So they can go chase down child sex predators and safeguard our schools and protect our children and do the work that FBI agents and lawyers were hired to do. Those are the first couple of steps I would take as the FBI director, though I'm sure the deep state would probably never allow that.
I mean, they'll have a literal meltdown. They really would not even know what to do. They're like, lock the doors. You know what I mean? Oh my gosh. But it would be good. And by the way, this could be very possible in a Trump presidency. So as Kash continues to serve, and that's what's important. So I'm going to shift gears a little bit. And, there's a new report out, okay? Because I like talking about this Hunter Biden thing. Because when they come after my honey boo boo, John Jr., I get so mad because there's a guy who's bad news, okay? He's a bad hombre, but they don't. Just look the other way. Hunter Biden apparently plotted in 2019 to betray the family's top financial advisor, Eric Schwerin, amid their crumbling relationship. It was disintegrating. And now Schwerin is cooperating with the House GOP investigation. Where do you think the House GOP investigation is going to take them on this? And, former prosecutor, we're talking about specific statutes violated by Hunter Biden. What kind of statutes, guys, do you think we might be looking at?
Fraud. I think there's going to be a lot of fraud and corrupt. I wouldn't be surprised, frankly, if there wasn't campaign finance issues that were involved in anything with Hunter Biden. I think that we're going to see a lot of that come out. I think that there was quid pro quo, as we call it. There was a lot of exchange. You do this for me, I'll do this for you. And we know that there were references to President Biden through Hunter Biden's communications with China and a lot of our our competitors, frankly, internationally. So I think that hopefully we will get some, as Kash said, I'm sick and tired of hearing hearings. I want to see some intentions and I want to see some things start happening. And if we don't start getting these out of Washington, you know what, they should be trying all these people in Texas or in Florida or in somewhere in the Midwest, then maybe we'd actually get some trials that go somewhere. The problem is we keep having these hearings and then it goes to Washington and we don't get anywhere. So I want to see Hunter. I want to see where the money goes, as Kash said, because I bet we're going to see a lot of fraud and a lot of campaign finance issues and corruption even up into the White House. Yeah, no,
absolutely. Kash, get your take on it.
Yeah, look, maybe I'm going to nerd out here, but as a former federal prosecutor, the statutes are on the books for a reason. Every illegal activity that Alina and you just outlined can be wrapped up into wire fraud and mail fraud corruption conspiracy statutes. And you don't have to get fancy. If you bought something, i.e. access, and you use the American banking system to undertake that crime, that's wire fraud. Mm-hmm. If you utilize the mailing and postal service system of this country or the electronic communication system of this country to carry out that conspiracy, that's mail fraud. It doesn't have to be sexy, and it doesn't have to be this big new record-breaking criminal enterprise. If you have one felony, just charge it. And if you have more, charge more. But the fact that they haven't charged any is my bigger concern. Mm-hmm. Because it's not like the evidence isn't there. And y'all know this as lawyers. It's not like we have the videotape to the bank robbery with sound in high definition in Hunter Biden's laptop, and they don't want to do anything with it. So that's the problem to me. But that hits at the point we were talking about earlier, which is the two-tier system of justice. And I still have some hope. Maybe I'm, losing it, but I still have some hope that if we charge Hunter Biden with at least one crime, then the American people can have a little bit of faith restored into the justice system. But if they don't, we have to put it out there.
Right, Alina? I mean, like you said, let's have some action here, okay? Like, people have been waiting. Remember, it was a Durham investigation and this and everything was taking forever, and it just pisses people off. They're sick of it because it seems like, a joke, mockery of the justice system. It's like, we know these things that happen every single time. It's a conspiracy theory until then Trump was proven right, as we've said on so many, instances. But, Alina, like now it's like people are like, wait, when are we ever going to see some actual credibility from the Justice Department or from one of these investigations to show that these institutions are not completely crumbled, but that there's hope to rehabilitate them?
Yeah, I think we have all the evidence that we need. Quite honestly, if you just look at what we've seen come out in the media and you take a minute to read the other side's media, and I read both sides because I think it's important to understand what everybody's putting in the American people's minds. We have enough. I mean, we have enough just in the fact that we know what was on the laptop. We know all of these things. So why hasn't it happened? And I think that goes back to your point. We need to clean house. We need to.
I cannot wait. Yeah.
And
we just need to send Kash in there and just like clean house, like a wrecking ball. We'll play some Miley Cyrus wrecking ball music. We'll put like Kash on the wrecking ball and he'll just knock the whole place down and throw everybody out.
I'll be serving so many subpoenas, you won't even know what to do.
She's going to be like this, subpoena. What else? You got a subpoena?
And
we'll have so much fun. Oh my God, I love it. This is getting me excited. This is what I'm saying. People want action. And here's the best part. The two people we have on here today, they have answers. They have solutions. They know what's going on, what's wrong, what needs to be fixed and changed. And let me tell you, folks, we are keeping a list. Okay, naughty or nice. Like, are you a good actor? Are you a bad actor? Are you someone who's been doing your job, or is you someone who has been actually proffering false narratives and false evidence against Americans? We're going to pay attention to that. That is faux sure. All right, well, we got to have you guys back a lot often because I'm just like super excited to see both of you. And just Kash, real quick, give a plug, please, because you're giving back. You're not just doing all this other stuff. Like I know Alina is too, but to your foundation.
Thanks so much. Yeah, look, it's been an honor to be with y'all. Fightwithkash.com, fightwithkash with a K.com is a 501c3 charity. No one has a salary. We gave away over $100,000 last year to active duty service members, whistleblowers, legal defense funds, and tuition assistance programs. And this year I'm looking to give away $1 million. Go to fightwithkash.com, buy some merch, join the effort, free content, and just come along the show next time, and we'll all wear some Orange Man Bad t-shirts together.
Oh my God, Orange Man Bad. And he's so cute, the poor thing, and they go, Orange Man, I just meow. All right, you guys are the absolute best. Alina, keep fighting, okay? I know you're winning. You're winning cases, and you're doing a great job. You're helping the American people because you're helping to protect our fabulous president so that he can run and win again. So thank you for your family as well, making the sacrifice, because we all take so much of your time to help save the world. Kash, you're the best as well. Look forward to chatting with you guys again. Be good.
Thanks all. Alina's the best lawyer I know, next to KG.
I know. Yeah. Hey, I'm in the seat right now here because I got to bring the facts and evidence out, but I'm with her.
Keep doing it, Kim.
Keep doing it.
Congratulations. Sure, you guys are the best. All right, and I want to thank all our viewers for joining us as well, because it's you, the viewers, who are supporting this show. And I want to make sure to thank our fabulous sponsors, okay? It's why I want to tell you all about MyPillow 2.0, where you can buy one and then you get one free with promo code mypillow.com/Kimberly. Because the best pillow is getting even better. And I'm telling you, Mike Lindell is so fired up about it. I love this pillow. It's absolutely amazing. Not only is it like super smooth to the touch, but you can like scoosh it up. Like, you know, you just scrunch your pillow and you can like sleep nice. It stays cool. So instead of just being like super hot, like Donna and I have the dog sleeping with us all the time and they're like on our heads and we're like getting hot. This keeps it cool and it's amazing. So I talked to him about it. I said, so what's going on with this, with the new pillow? Like, tell me why it's different in the new technology. But he said that it's got the adjustable fill, but it gives you the exact support you need from the bed to your head, and it's going to stay that way throughout the night, like he said. And then he figured out some new technology to actually keep it cool. So that's why it's pretty cool. So he updated it, which I like a lot. So be sure to go to mypillow.com/Kimberly to learn more, along with our other sponsors like Goldco, because gold and silver can protect your retirement savings. I learned this from my dad, okay? My family was big in this, you know, from first generation. My father born in Ireland, he came and served in the military, and he came here, he made a few bucks, and he bought gold and silver, because you can save from dollar devaluation and from inflation, and owning an actual tangible physical inflation hedging gold and silver can help diversify your portfolio. From precious metals, IRAs to direct purchases of gold and silver, Goldco has helped thousands of Americans diversify and protect their retirement savings. Let you and your family be one of those people. And I got to tell you, at the end of the day, we want to support companies who support you, right? Who support our values and our ideals instead of supporting woke companies who hate us. So go to kimsmetals.com to learn more about it. That's kimmetals.com. And this has been a great show, super fun. So that's all for us today. And in closing tonight, I want to all of you to remember just what's at stake as we go from one election season into another. Free speech, freedom of expression, your children's future. It all hangs in the balance. Do not lose sight of what matters most. And don't lose sight of how important it is to make your voice heard. And it's why I've found a home here on Rumble, where facts come first and where news is done right. And I'm excited for you all to come on this journey with me. We're going to do it together as we reshape the media landscape and we rewrite the rules. And in the meantime, be sure to follow me at Kimberly Guilfoyle here on Rumble. And there you see it all right there. And turn on notifications so you never miss an episode. All right. And also be sure to follow me across all platforms like Twitter, Truth Social, Facebook, Locals, and Instagram. Comment down below. Tell me what you think, who you want to see interviewed, and what stories you're most interested in. I hope you have a wonderful and blessed evening, and make sure you turn in for Don Jr. live at 6 o'clock tonight. Looking forward to seeing you all back on Thursday.